Elizabeth Stitt here of Joyful Parenting Coaching. I get questions about consequences all the time. What makes a great consequence? First and foremost, you get consequences for really clear expectations that you have sat down with your kids and you've communicated to them, what is it that I want of you? How do I want to see you behave? By when do I want to see you do it? And you've gotten their agreement to it. That way, when they don't meet the expectation, it's not unexpected to them. It's not just today you get a consequence because I'm angry and I'm mad, and another day I let it go. If you set it up ahead of time, you're going to be clear and consistent about following through. Another important aspect of a good consequence is that its purpose is to teach and to course correct and to help a child remember for next time to do whatever it is they need to do to meet the expectation. It's not meant to punish, it's not meant to blame, it's certainly not meant to shame our child. Goodness knows we screw up with stuff all the time. Think about it. When you check a book out of the library, you know what the consequence is for not meeting the expectation of getting the book turned back in before it's due. And when you fail to meet that expectation, you pay the fine. And I bet you're like me, and that for a long time afterwards, you really pay attention and make sure, like, oh, I'm going to get my library's books in on time because I do not want to pay a fine. That makes it an appropriate consequence. In that same vein, a library fine, the day-to-day fine, is usually an irritation, but it's not an amount that makes us not want to engage with the library again. It's just an amount to kind of go, oh, right, okay, I got it. So a great effective consequence uses the lowest minimum dose. Do you know that expression from medicine? Right? If you can take one aspirin to get rid of your headache, the recommendation is to take one aspirin. Don't take the 2 aspirin that you are allowed to take. Just take the one that you need to get rid of the pain. Same thing with a consequence. We want to have a light touch. We don't want to come down like a hammer on our kids. Finally, a consequence needs to meet what it is that you're trying to teach. So sometimes parents feel like the only consequence they have that has any effectiveness at all is taking away kids' electronics. Now, if a child has failed to empty the dishwasher, which is what they agreed to do, because he is on his electronics, he's so absorbed with his video game, then you can make that argument. You can say, son, it looks to me like you failed to empty the dishwasher by the agreed time because you were so absorbed in your video game that you lost track of everything else. So for that reason, we're going to agree that, I'm going to have your electronics by 5 p.m. so that I can be assured that the evening goes smoothly based on the expectations that we have sat down and agreed upon. If, on the other hand, it's because he was out playing basketball and shooting hoops that he lost time and he forgot to follow through, then taking away his phone is not appropriate, right? Then it should have something more to do. It could be saying like, okay, that's it, you're not going out and playing hoops tomorrow night. Or it could be the idea of, you inconvenienced me, I had to empty the dishwasher because you were out playing hoops, so I'm going to inconvenience you and you're going to come help me do something so that I can have some free time. Maybe I want to go play hoops for a while. So consequences need to teach, they need to redirect, they need to just remind lightly. If it's something like a broken vase, then we need to make amends. If it's, I showed up late and you stood, and this is true for parents too, right? If we failed to meet an expectation, like, Mom, you said you would pick me up, then we should have a consequence as well. And just as with your kids, you can accept an apology the first time or the second time. If something becomes a pattern, however, even if it's your bad pattern, then you need to do some brainstorming and you need to make it up. You need to make amends to your child who has sat there feeling unimportant because you couldn't bother to show up when you said you would. Do you want to learn more about consequences? Come join my webinar. It's going to go through step by step how to, first of all, set things up so that you need the fewest number of consequences, and then what can you use as a consequence that is going to help redirect and course correct the child for next time, or is going to help make amends and repair the relationship. Those are really the two aims of good consequences. Elizabeth Stitt, Joyful Parenting Coaching.